Ayurveda is an entire way of life. It's not just a handbook you can turn to when your health goes haywire, but it's a series of practices you gradually incorporate into your life to promote health and longevity. As you slowly implement these small lifestyle changes, they won't be something you just add into your day. They will become your day. And a central theme to all these lifestyle practices is alignment with nature. The closer we are to nature and her ways, the healthier we will be. The farther we wander away from nature, the more we will suffer. One of the easiest ways we can align ourselves with nature is to align our day with the movements of the sun. In the evening, as the sun sets, so does our internal sun, our digestion, and without adequate fire, our food can't be metabolized well. So it's important to design our dinner to be smaller in quantity than our other meals and lighter in digestibility. Having a light dinner isn't just about aligning our day with the sun. Earlier and lighter dinners also set us up for a good night of sleep. When we eat earlier in the evening, our bodies have enough time to properly digest our meal before we go to sleep. When we're sleeping, we should allow all parts of our body to completely rest. If we've just eaten a large meal that hasn't yet digested by the time we go to sleep, our digestion will still be working hard into the night, metabolizing our meal. So when our digestion should be resting, it's actually working, and our body doesn't get the break it needs. So we wake up feeling groggy and tired. It's a knock-on effect. So if you want a good day, then have a lighter and earlier dinner the night before. Our current lifestyle doesn't lend itself too well for a light dinner. It's often the only time families get to eat together, so the meal will be elaborate. Or we tend to arrange social events for dinner, or try out new restaurants in the evening, or sometimes we're just too tired from the day that we resort to getting takeaway. But with a few little tweaks and changing your mindset to embracing an earlier, lighter dinner, it's all possible. Try and have your dinner by sunset. If sunset in summer and winter is drastically different where you live, then try and eat by 6:30 p.m. Ideally, dinner should be half the quantity of lunch, so if this takes some time getting used to, then just gradually reduce the portion of your dinner over a few weeks. This general rule of thumb doesn't apply to young children, athletes, or those who do excessive physical activity, so eat accordingly. You might make the same thing for everyone and then eat a smaller quantity, or if the rest of your family gets home later, you might eat as soon as you've cooked and then join your family with a herbal tea while they eat their dinner. Or if you get home late from work, then invest in a slow cooker or have all the components of your meal prepped, so you just need to put it all in a pot, or add a few more 20-minute meals to your repertoire. Everyone's situation is different, so do what works for you and your family. If eating out for dinner becomes unavoidable, then maybe eat a little at your regular dinner time before you go. Don't skip lunch, choose lighter foods on the menu, sip herbal tea while you eat, and it might mean that you skip breakfast the next day. While the many different lifestyle practices may seem restrictive and difficult to put into place, do what you can while keeping your flow. Work on lovingly finding your flow and introducing baby steps with flexibility. If your health routine causes stress and rigidity, then it may not be for you, or it may not be the right time for you. When we think of light dinners, something vegetable-based often comes to mind. Vegetables are often underrated, but when cooked right, seasoned well, and paired with complementary sides, veggies can end up being the star of the show. Like with everything, moderation is key. Just because we like potatoes doesn't mean we eat it 5 days a week for dinner, even if it is cooked differently every day. It's important we fill our plates with the right variety of vegetables each day. Too many will overwhelm our digestion, but aiming for 2 to 3 different types of vegetables at each meal is optimal. The question of raw versus cooked often comes in. From a prana perspective, raw vegetables are the most nourishing because they've undergone virtually no processing, and so they're filled with maximum energy and nutrients. But to properly metabolize raw vegetables takes a lot more digestive power, and most of our digestions aren't able to handle a diet filled with raw veggies. Coupled with an already low digestive fire in the evening, raw vegetables isn't the best choice. Whatever cooking we can do to the foods outside our bodies means we need to cook them less on the inside. So cooking our vegetables by steaming, stir-frying, roasting, or boiling makes them a lot easier to digest. As we all have slight variations in our digestion, we'll find certain foods suit us better than others. Ayurveda has recognized this and analyzed foods according to the effect they're having on us, whether they're cooling or heating, whether they're heavy or light, how they suit different digestive types, and any other special properties they may have. Of course, you can intuitively figure this out through trial and error by seeing which foods agree with you and which don't. We've made it easier for you by including a handout which categorizes certain foods according to which digestive type they suit the most, so you can choose the right vegetables for you. If you find that you don't have many sensitivities when it comes to different types of vegetables, then you can still refer to the handout to help you eat in a more seasonal way. It's easy to spot seasonal foods in the supermarket. These are often discounted and heavily promoted when they're in season. But if you live in a place where you can get everything all year round, then sometimes it's a little difficult to figure out what's in season. That's when you can refer to the handout to help you choose more seasonal vegetables. When I first learnt about food and nutrition from an Ayurvedic perspective, I kept asking, but what about getting enough calcium? What about getting enough protein? Western models of nutrition ask you to learn details first about the macro and micronutrients and how many milligrams of each you need in your diet. Instead of trying to extract and isolate specific macronutrients like proteins, we should look out for the qualities and energetics of the food to determine what your body needs. Ayurveda taught me the general principles first. We're all made up of different proportions of the 5 elements, and to be adequately nourished, we need those 5 elements through our diet. Rather than looking out for whether your food is earthy or airy, these 5 elements were reorganized into 6 tastes: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, pungent, and astringent. You're properly nourished when your meal contains all 6 tastes. Now, it's easy to get the sweet, sour, and salty tastes in our diets. Most of what we eat is predominantly made up of these 6 tastes. The bitter, pungent, and astringent tastes are a little harder to incorporate. This is where lentils come in. The majority of lentils and beans are astringent in taste. When cooked well, these not only tick off the astringent box in your nutrition checklist, but they also tick the protein box as well. Considerably lighter and easier to digest than heavy carbs like wheat, proteins are a great addition to an early and light dinner. The key is to choose the right source. When we think about aligning ourselves with nature, it's important to choose foods that are as close to their natural state as possible. Again, I think back to Michael Pollan's genius book, Food Rules. It's such an easy read, so simple yet so profound. He stresses eating whole foods over processed foods, on eating foods that have a simple ingredient list of things you can recognize, and on eating foods made from ingredients that you can picture in their raw state or growing in nature. Using the same philosophy, try and choose protein sources in as natural a state as possible. The best of all is the humble green mung. It's the easiest to digest, astringent in taste, slightly detoxifying, and has a cooling energy. When cooked with rice or other partial protein grains, it provides a complete vegetable protein. You'll notice a lot of Ayurvedic recipes featuring mung beans. It's one of the foods that you can eat every day. Other lentils or beans like French lentils, red lentils, yellow mung dal, pigeon peas, green peas, chickpeas, black beans, and pinto beans are also great options as well. The key to cooking these is to soak them anywhere from a couple of hours to overnight, and to season them with a healthy fat and spices. The spices won't just add flavor, but they'll increase the digestibility of the beans, making you feel less bloated and gassy after you eat them. With over 20,000 new food products being introduced everywhere, it can be overwhelming to decide what to buy. As the plant-based industry grows each year, newer foods that fulfill high protein quotients or mock meats are starting to become popular. While they may taste great, they're filled with more ingredients than we can think of and recognize. It's fine to have them on occasion, but eating them on a regular basis can create more harm than good in our bodies. I hope you've learned to design your dinner in a way that suits your tongue, but more importantly, your digestion.